Kirby will be back in a minute. If you got any questions, though, feel free to drop them. Hello, Joanna. Hey, Larita, how are you? All
All
right,
right.
it's live.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back in ugly as ever. Uh, yeah, giving people a second. Hey, Sin. Uh, giving people a second to tap in, join in before we start saying the madness that we usually talk about. All right, we've been live for a minute. I could wait some time, but not a long time. So, all right, there we go. I was just making sure my screen was up and everything else was in their particular order and things like that. All right. So, Alex, this is a topic, and please, like Alex said, put the questions in the comment section. You can talk about any subject matter. Again, we set up the framework just to have a subject, just in case nobody's talking, to put out information out there. But I mean, the name of this, the title of this one is "Brutal Money Advice for Couples." Um, and Alex, I'm just being honest. I think this is like you could talk about different nuances of personal finance. You could talk about, the stock market. You could talk about real estate. You could talk about everything. But what I see is a lot of people when you talk to them, they have a significant other or something, and they're not on the same accord when it comes to personal finance. So I'm gonna start off with you. What's your thoughts on personal finance? What's the goal of it rather than for couples? What should be the goals of it that you
The goal for couples or just as a
just
whole?
as a family dynamic, as couples or whatever.
I mean, I think the goal for couples should be everyone's gonna have their own reasons, but the reasons for me has always been to become free or independent from anything, and obviously the ultimate goal of that being freedom for the family itself, not just for one person.
Yeah, and for me, it's more simplistic for that for me. I mean, I didn't get married to, or I didn't want to be in a relationship, so I could just say, hey, we work, we come home, we work, we come home for the next 80 years until we die. I mean, I think if people want to be in a relationship, the goal is to, okay, I love this person. I'm guessing because I don't know why people get married these days, but I love this person, and then I want to grow old with them. But I want to be able to, experience things on the outside world, of doing things, vacationing, like you and your spouse, y'all always driving somewhere crazy. I think y'all still think y'all crazy because y'all driving so many places. But the goal is to actually experience things together. But if everybody got to work all the time just to get to a point, then what's the point? I mean, right now we're seeing people to 60, 70 years old, they still having to go punch that 9 to 5, grind clock just because they can't do anything else, because they can't afford to do anything else.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why you still seeing boomers, because that's what generation we're in right now, that's hitting that retirement age. I believe it's 10,000 boomers are retiring per day, but also 10,000 boomers dying per day also. But you still see them at the Walmart. You still see them at the local AP zone military bases. You still see them having to work further along, but and they have to work for a longer amount of time to get some chance of freedom or normalcy to hit retirement. So my question to you is, why do you think that that is a reason at all that they got to work so long just to have some form of retirement?
I don't think that the education of finance has really been accessible for those older generations. I think now we see a lot more financial topics on social media, on YouTube. I think it's more talked about now. But it all comes down to managing finances. They've gotten to that point where they they weren't informed correctly manage it to the point where at that stage in their life they don't have to punch that clock.
Right, and for just so you know, my mom is gonna love that answer because she always thinks that that's the answer. She's always going with that's the answer. Like, oh, we didn't have the education. We didn't have education. Yeah, they probably, back in their day, they probably had one Encyclopedia Britannica out of the 26 series. You know what I mean? So that's probably the only education they had about finance altogether. So I mean, yeah, the avenue of the not knowing is there. The avenue of
Right.
not knowing is there. But the thing is, at some point in time, and this is just my thinking, this is not probably everybody else thinking, but at some point in time through this journey, I mean, of having kids or getting married, having kids, and then let's say you do that in your early years, in your early 20s, you get to your 30s and 40s. I'm thinking, I mean, I could be wrong, but the process of, hey, why am I not able to do more? Why am I not able to hit that, vacation every year without going substantially in credit card debt? Why am I not able to, if I want to celebrate holidays or whatever, I can celebrate it and it's not a big financial burden? I'm thinking at some point you got to think of that and be like, something can't be right. I mean, I understand everybody, we're in our cycle. I know everybody, we're in our cycle. I'm hearing we going in and out. That's what I
You're
get a
good
message.
now. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I know people just wrapped into a cycle of, hey, I'm just repeating what my parents are doing. But at some point, shouldn't there be something to say, hey, this is not what I planned on doing? Or do people just give up and just say, okay, I just succumb to this life? That's the question. What do you think it is?
I think. I mean, I think that just as I said, I don't think that people have the right guidance, and I think the good thing with social media today, I would say, in giving people more answers is that you can get more minds together. Back then, we know that people had the knowledge of how to be financially responsible and how to invest. Like, and we can see this in, like, say examples with like the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think that book was written. Shoot, honestly, I'm not even gonna quote it. I think it was written like on based on a time period of in the 70s, I think, roughly. And so we know there was people that knew how to manage finances correctly, but now with social media, we have an aspect, a community put together to where we have so many minds in that community that can share their experiences, and everyone can pick pieces out of that to put in their life. But people from that older generation never had that correct guidance.
All right, but let's go with the excuse because it sounds like you're making excuses for people. But let's go with your excuse that it wasn't a lot of information out there. But at no time did somebody just say, "Hey," I mean, they might not know the answer. They might not know the answer, but just like, "Hey, this don't feel right," or "This is not what I subscribed for," or do you believe that it's more of, "Hey, they seen their parents go through life just like this, so they just figure that's what they have to do."
Yeah, I think it's part of their part of what they saw growing up. At some point, obviously, if you're in debt and you're drowning in debt, you know that that feeling is not a good feeling. Um, but the steps and little tricks on how to get out of that stuff um, may be something that someone has to search for, and most people aren't actively trying to search for those answers.
And for everybody, please hit questions in the comment section or whatever. We'll hit those. Um, so I'm a tap on this. This is my favorite subject for you, and it's funny. It's my favorite subject for you because people will look at you like this dude is crazy. This is a element that's amazing to me. People get people will get married and then they act like they just realized that their significant other is not good financially or they're heavy in debt. I know it's gonna be some people out there that say, "Oh, well, they lied to me." Okay, whatever. But trust me, success leaves clues, failure leaves clues also. But besides that, um, the dating scene. I love hitting this point because of you. All right. All right. And I know people, so they hear this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this dude is real. He off his rocker." So first date, first date with your wife, and I believe, and I 100% believe that this conversation needs to happen sooner rather than later in a dating. I'm not gonna say it should be the first date, but first date with your wife. How did it go? I'm just gonna leave the floor open for you right there. How did it go?
Well, the date you're referring to wasn't the first one, but it was like I I think it
One
was
A.
one.
It was like 1A. It was like date
It,
1A.
it was one of the dates. It was the first date we had when we were, I guess, getting more serious about being together.
Hmm.
And it was an interrogation. It was like interrogating a spy. I don't know. I questioned her on pretty much everything, and I planned it. It was like, all right, I'm gonna take her out to eat, but our discussion is gonna be for our future.
All right,
And
wait. Before you jump in there, you said took her out to eat. Was it like a 2 for 20 at Applebee's? Where were you at?
no,
Did y'all
no,
share a
man, it was
platter? I know how
it
you
was
work. I know you work.
Longhorn. It was Longhorn.
Oh, okay.
All right, they say you're going in and out. Who's going in and out? Because your end is okay for me. I'm not having any issues, but I don't know who's going in and out.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
Anyway,
not.
so you want me to jump into the questions I was asking her?
No. I want you to jump in the back to the Applebee's first
No, it
before we
wasn't
get deep.
Applebee's. It was
No.
Longhorn.
All right, so you went Longhorn. Did
Yeah.
you hit the specials or did you? How did you do? You let her order whatever she wanted to
Yeah,
order.
yeah. She always orders salad, so that like, it always
Perfect.
comes out
Perfect.
cheaper. Yeah.
Keep it below $20. I got you. I got you. There you go. All right. Now go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
So in that time in my life, I had already come out of a relationship, and the only thing I wanted to focus on was, I guess, my um, financial success. That's the only thing I wanted to focus on. Really, it was like I realized coming out of a relationship, I was distracted a lot, and I didn't want that same distraction. So my questions in that date were basically my statement to her was, this is what I'm doing. These are my goals. I'm trying to pursue them. And if we are going to be together, I want you on the same page and us pursue them together. And if this is not something you want to do, then I'd rather not continue as a relationship.
And,
And
and wait before you go on, because I want to put it like a timeline, not a timeline around it, but I want you to understand the paradox of what you just said. So now how old was you at the time? So we can have understanding on that. How old was you at the time?
19.
So you're 19 now. At 19, you had the wherewithal, and for people he didn't know me at that time. I think we had one conversation when I was in
Yeah.
Afghanistan or something, but he didn't
Yeah.
know me at the time, so I didn't give him the interrogation question. This was all him. I don't even think I could have pulled this off on a first date. But now in this frame of mind, you asking this as a male, 19 years old in today's day and age. Now it's, the woman interrogating the male, making sure 6 feet, 6 pack, six figures. That it's rare. It's rare today, much less yesteryear, that a man would even be thinking about. Because man be like, "Oh, I'm man, so I got the whole family up under my coattail, and I'm just going to do everything." But I mean, I just want to point out the wherewithal that you had at 19 years old to think of, hey, I need a helpmate, I need a soulmate, or something else that's going to help me build whatever thing that you didn't even know what you was building, but you needed help to go make that
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
happen. All right, sorry, go
And
carry on
and
with the date. Go
maybe
ahead.
if I didn't need help, I definitely didn't want, like, I knew I could do it myself, but I didn't want someone to pull me down at the same
Right,
time.
right.
So, and then, so those were the questions asked and the statements I made to her. And then it was also because she's from Venezuela. So I also asked her the question. I was like- I asked her, why are you dating me? Is it to get citizenship, and is it to basically use me for money? So I asked those questions too,
Mhm.
and so I just made everything, put everything on the table there. Um,
Well, this is a funny thing, and I'm sorry for cutting you off because I got to make sure I get my stabs in when I can. This dude had $4.50 in his pocket talking about is you using me for money. I see you working though. I see you working. Yeah, I see you. I see you working. Uh, but yeah, I mean, but those are questions. But the thing is, in society today, hell, I mean, even 10 years ago, having those confrontational questions, because of course, the guy is just looking to get in the girl's draws, in the early part of the scene. Let's call it what it is. And they're not having those hard conversations. They making it look like, hey, I'll tell you whatever you want to hear so we can go to bed tomorrow. You know what I mean? And the thing is and that's a nuance. And of course, some people gonna look on here and be like, oh, that dude there corny. But then I will hit the inverse and say, okay, he can be corny, but then you're broke. But let's just call it what it is. But the thing is because having that wherewithal at 19, because I'll be honest, when I was 19, I wasn't looking at none of that. I didn't care what you got. I didn't care what you had. Shoot, I was broke. We was broke. We broke together. Shoot, let's have some broke ass kids or whatever. That's just I didn't have that train of thought. But now that I talked to you about this, this is probably like our 30th time talking about this because it's still funny every time. Uh, it's it's amazing that you had this conversation because now I'm saying it's amazing because now I have conversations with people that's older than you, and then they're married, and then they act in shock and awe and act like, oh, I'm surprised. My significant other, no matter if it's male or female, they're not good with finances, or they want to blame their significant other. Oh well, the reason why I can't save money because my wife want to go spend. I can't save no money because it's my husband. So those are nuanced things. And if somebody's on here younger looking, oh, should be one of the topics, no matter male or female. This is one of the key topics, especially if you're thinking about growing for a long time. Even if hell you want to be a boyfriend and girlfriend for 5 6 years, because one or the other one gonna take the money from the one gonna take the money from the other, no matter what, if you're in a long term relationship, married or not. So that's why I just want to keep pointing out that aspect of it. So okay, I keep cutting you off. So, you asking your wife these questions. Is she looking at you crazy? I know she like, I'm fine. What the hell are you doing asking me all these questions for? Did she give you that look?
that kind of was the response. Yeah, yeah.
I
That
know,
that
I know,
that was pretty much the response.
I know.
She was like, I don't need anybody. Like,
Hmm.
but but no, she understood where I was coming from. So when I had laid out, I want to be on the same page, and I have these goals, and I mean, she was on board. She was on board, and not just with her words, but with her actions too.
All right, so I see some trolls in the comments already, and I'm
Yeah.
talking about Anna and City because Anna said, uh, what she say? She said, Anna told me years ago that I should have asked. I mean, I should always ask about finances early in the relationship. And then you see what Anna said. I ain't gonna even repeat it because it's talking bad about myself. And then, but what she said was, I wish I would have took my own advice when I started dating Kirby. Yeah, and then my wife's not lying. She ain't lying. I was broke as a joke. I was faking it though. I was faking it like I had about $1 trillion in the bag, but I had like 30 cents. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I only had like 30 cents, but I was faking. She just ain't do her good investigation at that time. But yeah, so those things are I see that that's a huge topic. When I say a huge, you said marriage was good during the 50s, maybe, but that's a huge thing that I see in dilemma. And I mean, we talk in the Discord, we talk on different avenues, we talk to people on a day to day basis. What is your when you hear the concept of people get married and you start talking about finances or they talking about they want to save? What is the feedback you're getting from couples or just one side or either a spouse or a husband or a wife in that instance?
Every couple I hear, there's like one person that's good with money, and then one that's bad. And
Right.
the one that's bad with money doesn't care about how the money is managed. They just leave it up to the person that's good with money to manage it. And if it's not on that spectrum where they're willing to at least operate in a team effort where, they're pooling their money together, then it's a 50-50 relationship. So they still split everything.
And so going to that, and that was one thing, the splitting the 50-50 thing. That was huge. I see somebody saying in the 60s we do nothing about saving. But the split 50-50 thing. So when I grew up, inner city Detroit, I see my family members, they'll get married. And then the one thing that always stuck with me, they get married and it's, oh, that's his money or that's her money. So, and then that was something that I didn't know the answer. I didn't know the answer to the question, but something seemed wrong. So you're willing to get married and say that y'all won y'all union, y'all willing to share a bed, y'all willing to consummate and have these bad kids, you willing to go buy a house and share a house, you willing to go buy a car, share a car, you willing to share everything else. But when it comes to money, oh no, it's a separate endeavor. And then so when I was growing up, I always seen that, like, oh, here's hers, here's hers. And still to this day, when I hear people say, oh, well, that's her money, she can do what she wants to, or that's his money, he can do what he wants to, it's very cringe. Because for me, growing up like that, once I decided to jump the broom, that's exactly how I looked at it. Is her money, is my money. Her money, my money. But the true reality is, and like you just seen in the comments, I was 100% terrible with money. And so it was, I was always broke. She was always, saving that rainy day fund to bail out the back door on me. But anyway, but that's the mindset I had. That's the mindset I had. And those was the brokest times in our life. Then one day I had a eureka moment and I was like, hey, if it's a union, and again, I didn't have no case study or people before me to say, hey, this is what they did to say it's work. And then of course I had major guidance from my wife to tell me, hey, stupid, why you keep saying it's hers and mine, and it's mine and yours, it's ours. And then that's when we decided to combine the finances, that's when stuff started to work. Because now we got to hold each other accountable. When everybody got their separate account, then you could just sit there and fake it, like, oh yeah, I got some money saved, but it ain't nothing saved in the account. But then now we got to hold each other accountable. Now when somebody's looking at you. And then the thing is if you combine your finances and you held accountable and they don't care that they just keep taking money, then that means they don't care about the accountability they have you. But they was okay with them do your part. They was okay with cars, kids, and everything else. That's a crazy thing. I
Right.
see Jake got one in the comment. What you got there? I can't
How
see
many
it.
how many accounts do you recommend couples to have, and what are they?
That's a good one. I'll say mine, and the Alex, yours might be a little different. I say so. I'm just gonna say exactly what we have. Me and my wife, we have separate checking accounts. So after the money comes in together, we've already set a budget of, hey, this is your spending money for the month. I mean, early on it was like $50 a month. Of course, now it's way more. But that money goes into the checking account. That money goes to a checking account, and then if you decide to put money into your own personal savings account for something that you're saving individually, personally, that you don't want to have to answer for, but you doing it off the personal spending money, blow money, whatever you want to call it, per month. But then everything else is combined. I mean, I just named the accounts. We got a cover account, we got an emergency account, we got a crap ton of business accounts, but that don't even matter. But then we have those accounts that's just set up for the family itself. Now, I'm not sitting here saying one spouse got to sit there and patrol. I mean, give them money so they can go do whatever they want. But the net or the nut or the nest egg of the money should be combined, and it's focused or angled towards a singular goal to get to what the family as a combined want to go to. And then that's how I do it. Alex, you got a different flow on that? Oh, we already know Alex. Alex ain't giving nobody nothing. But go ahead,
Mine is similar. The part you said at the end, where as long as the goal is the same, that's the most important part.
Alex.
Um, I have my own checking. My wife has her own checking. But as soon as we get paid from anything, whether it's jobs, whether it's her insurance commission, whether it's real estate rents, we discuss it and we automatically pull it into an area that it needs to be allocated to. So, like when she's paid, she'll send me her check, and then that immediately goes to stocks. And then we use my check to pay the expenses, and then above that is also invested in stocks. And then all other income from real estate, rents, that's usually put aside for like reserves or other jobs that need to be done on the properties. And then her insurance commission that's put aside to either savings or stocks. And yeah, so we have the same goal, but there's like separate accounts, I guess. Like we have our names on the accounts, but it's like that's her account or whatever. That's my account. We just
Yeah, and
together.
I can see the comments now coming. He said she sends her whole paycheck and he throws it into the stock market. First off, they're thrown off that she's sending you her paycheck. You know, the people from the 60s and 50s, the guy brought the check home to the wife. So I know they're gonna be looking at that like that's crazy. But yeah, but I mean the income that we get from active income, meaning jobs or
Hmm.
side hustles or flip or sell or something like that. Yeah, it's all invested. I don't We
Yeah.
don't focus on that. I mean, of course, it took time to get to there, but that's the name of the game is putting the money to work. It's not
Yeah.
about having the latest car, not having the latest thing, but I noticed we're not getting many questions in there. I see some statements, but we ain't get a lot of questions in there. I see Berto's talking about his 94-year-old grandpa grew up poor and was even homeless at one point. He would always stay away from debt and invested in building a commercial property with 4 lots at his
Six.
retirement, or 6 lots. Sorry, 6 lots at his retirement. See, I need them glasses on for this one. But yeah, but that's admirable. That's admirable. I mean, we that's admirable that people could still pull that off, especially 94. I mean, he was born in like 19, what's that, 18, 1919, somewhere in there, 1930, somewhere in there. But yeah, no, that's admirable. Good, good. Salute to him. But yeah, but the dynamic that we see in now is more of a it's more of a his hers lifestyle. It's more of his her bank account. But now they're married now. Now, of course, it's his hers when it comes to money. It's us for everything else. And then they wondering why it don't work because everybody got their own small goals going this way, and there's no combined goal to focus. I mean, Alex, you always bring up a good point. Being able to invest with combined income will work faster because
Yeah.
you're making more money.
Way more. Yeah. And that point, like I've told people, that is just a cheat code. Because like when you talk to people about finance and then you ask them the question like, how much can you save per month? Usually you hear people say like, I can save $200 a month, or if I really tried hard, I could do 500 a month. But if you're working as a team effort and you guys can get down your expenses to where one income covers all expenses, that means the other income can be entirely invested. And you rarely hear people able to save two, three, $4,000 a month. But if you can do that, it opens up so many other avenues for you to invest in. And I mean that alone in 1 year allows you to put a down payment on a rental property. So that's why I say working together in that sense is just an absolute cheat code.
And you said one rental property, but you can buy one rental property every year. I mean, people probably don't know, and they think if you have one property with a mortgage on there, you might have two properties. That's it. The goal, I mean, not the goal, but the rule is you can have 10 qualified mortgages under one name. 10 qualified mortgages. So if you put 10 properties in the husband name and 10 properties in the wife name, and I'm talking about units 1 through 4, you get 10. That's 20 properties between y'all together if y'all was combined focus on something else.
Hmm.
And I mean, everything that we talk about, those are strategies that we use. We invest in the stock market to take that money to invest in real estate. But I mean, for us, we don't care whose name on it. I'm not sitting here worried about, oh, I can't just have my wife's name on it because she could run off on a plug on me and then leave me there. No, it don't matter. But the thing is, we try to compartmentalize and keep the properties separate, not combining the names, because every property that we have with combined names on it, that counts as one for each of them. So I can get 10 and 10, so I get 20 just doing it the conventional way before I got to switch to the non-QM way with DSCR and things like that, and assumptions and all that other madness is out there. Uh, so my question to you, and of course I'm still waiting for comments in the comment section, unless my comment section is stuck. Uh, and again, people that's watching, you can comment about anything. You don't have to just comment about this subject here. Um, my question to you is, why don't you believe now? Of course, you said the excuse from back in the day was they didn't have the resources and knowledge and things like that, or had the avenues to obtain the knowledge. But today, why do you think today? What are the excuses? I mean, the excuses today. Why can't they? Why you don't see more of them doing it today when you see most successful people they have combined finance.
I don't think there's a valid excuse. I think most people think they cannot achieve it. I think it's common for people to think that to become wealthy or rich, you're either born into it or you're lucky or you've done something criminal. I don't think the average worker, the average lower middle class person thinks that they can ever become a millionaire in their lifetime.
So, Alex, if you don't mind sharing, that's up to you. You don't have to. And because you said the average person to get to, they don't believe that you can work an average regular 9 to 5 job and hit a millionaire. Um, you hate me saying this about you, but I'm gonna say it again. Alex is a millionaire. He won't admit it to the world, but that's what he is. But my question to you is, before you hit this mark, what when you started this journey, what was the dollar per hour that you was making, and what dollar per hour are you making once you hit that matrix?
I started making I started when I started working I was making $10 an hour.
And that's when you got on the financial journey to say, "Hey, I'm about to go run
Yeah.
up a bag or something." Okay, ten
Yeah.
dollars an hour. Yep. And then once you hit that plateau that you say you never at, what is your per hour rate?
My personal per hour rate right now for my job is $29 an hour.
So
I
from
I'm paid salary, so it comes out to
Yeah,
about
it comes out. Yeah. So from $10 an hour to $29 an hour, you can get there. So now for everybody that's watching that say that you can't just be an average worker, because of course $29 an hour, I don't know what that comes out to a year, but it ain't
it's like 60, 62.
right.
Okay.
So there you go. There it is. An average person making an average income can still hit that mark. Now just and then so for everybody that's making more than that, what's your excuse? That's the question. What's your excuse?
Yeah, I will say too, because I hear like some of the regionals and stuff, or the directors at work talk about their income. I'm
Mhm.
like, man, what I would do with your income? Like,
Right,
they're
right,
just,
right.
like, they're just blowing it away. I'm like, geez, yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing is like they people thinking, of course, with social media and all this other crap that's out there, people think, oh no, I'll never get there if I can't make 6 figures, if I ain't bringing in 200, $300,000 a year. But going back to the same thing that you said, is how you eat an elephant piece by piece. You said you said if you save $2,000 a month, that's enough to get you a rental property, right? So let's just say you rinse and repeat it and did that every year. So let's say you started at 20, you got to 40, you got 20 rental properties, right? Those early properties are damn near paid off. And then let's just say each rental property is bringing you in $1,000 a month. Cash flow probably ain't crap early on, but you hold it for 20 years, you cash flowing a lot more than you was at the beginning. So let's say that's $20,000 a month.
yeah,
That's $20,000 a month from you saving $2,000 a month. Now you're making $20,000 a month. Of course, I understand that it can be property management fees and all that, but people still got bills and credit card bills and everything else with their regular salary. So why we don't break it down like that when it comes to that. So you're making $20,000 a month just by saving. But that's the thing that people don't get. They think that it has to be all or nothing. Like I have to have $1 million today. Not, hey, we take steps to get to this level, and then that's the nuance there. But I think we got a question out there. How do you train a old dog who is set in his or her ways when it comes to money? I'll let you answer that one. I'm an old dog, so I don't. I let the young dog. What would you tell? What would you tell us
You got
old dogs?
you got to waterboard it, man. You got you got to go extreme. They have to really fall on their face and realize that what they're doing is not getting them anywhere. And until they realize that, they're just gonna be stuck and down the road of destruction, as Kirby says.
Yeah,
Uh,
and for me, I look at it as training an old dog is. I mean, I think through the couple years we've been doing this. I think I've tried to use every motivation tactic there was. I mean, especially the old dogs out there that's 40, 50 years old. You about to be on a cane soon. You ain't gonna unless you plan on sitting there working at Walmart as a greeter. Your income years is coming nigh. It's coming very close. So
right,
if and the thing is if you don't, one thing for sure, two things for certain, death is coming. 65 is coming. So you got a choice. When you hit 65, do you have something or have nothing? And that's really what it comes down to. I mean, you could say, I see somebody said that's not old. All right, 65. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. But but you got a choice. You got a choice to figure out if you want it or not. Again, I mean, Alex, I remember talking to you early on. I said this financial journey and trying to help people on this financial journey is the most disheartening thing because you can sit here and tell people, especially the ones that's very close to you, of what they need to do, and then they won't do it. And then of course they'll see you progress in life, and then they're gonna wish that they was where you was at, but they still never will start. But the most disheartening thing is you decide to go on that journey, and then they choose not to listen to you. They don't believe in what you're saying, believe in what you're doing, whatever. But then those same people gonna reach out to you because you put in the hard work, energy, and effort to get there.
right.
Those are the most disheartening things about the whole avenue right there. I'm trying to read the questions that coming in, but I don't. The part right here should be a short. Oh, they edited the videos for us, Alex. There we go.
Yeah,
They got us. All right, thanks, Sid. But yeah, but so those are the things and the nuances. But I'm gonna pivot a little bit. Besides the fact that trying to teach the old dogs new tricks, the fact is the reality is the reality. I'm gonna tell you, this is how I am 100%. And of course, Alex, I'm I'm asshole number one. But I only could care for so long. I
yeah,
mean, I already know if I sit there and talk to you about something and you don't do it, and then you reach out to me for help financially after I gave you my most expensive help, my time to make sure you don't do it, and you don't listen, then I already know my answer is no. I
yeah,
don't care about I don't care about if we play red light, green light together in school. I don't give a care if you and your mom and my mom was best friends. I don't care if I had sleepovers at your house. I don't care if we shared the same pajamas. But there's no way in hell on God's green earth am I gonna make my family, and that's what we do to get to this level. I'm not gonna have my family sacrifice to pay for your financial decisions when you actually knew me. You get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? What I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I get it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get.
And so the answer is not no, but it's hell no. And then that's probably why I don't have a lot of friends and family that contact and reach out to me now, because my answer will be no. Because when we were sitting there, unscrewing light bulbs, leaving the AC unit, I mean, keeping the AC high and hot as hell, so our electricity bill would go down. Everybody else was living a good life.
Right.
Nobody ain't, when we was sitting there eating top ramen, should have been eating bottom ramen, but we eating top ramen, and everybody else, they eat filet mignon, they going out, they partying, they cruising, they doing all that. This is what my family had to do to be here. So I'm not about to go, oh, you done lived your good life. Now I'm about to go finance your life because you made all the mistakes, but I'm about to take away from the family that sacrificed to do it. It's not happening nowhere in hell. I'd rather die with every damn dollar buried on my chest before I give it to people that ain't gonna put it in. Especially if they know I'm a phone call away. If they know that they can reach out to me at any time and get the answer to the question.
Yeah.
That's literally how I look at it. What we got else? We got anything else in the comment section?
It says older people think they're too old. What do you have for them?
Older people that think they too old. I think at first, you know what? At first, Alex, I don't know if you got something with this before I go on another tangent. You got
I
anything?
would I would just say if no matter the age, if they dedicate themselves to the grind, as you call it, Kirby, um, they can achieve it in say 5 years time if they truly dedicated themselves. So if they're 70, 5 years time they'll be 75, but or 65. It doesn't matter. 5 years time. I would always just say that 5 years time, no matter the age, but you got to dedicate yourself.
Right. So I used to think that there was an age limit, and I believe it's somebody in here. At some point, I told them that, hey, you need to, just focus on preserving the little capital that they have. I used to think that, oh yeah, there is an age limit that you could say no. I mean that you just can't figure it out. But I realized that that's not the true reality. And then, of course, yeah, everybody in here know I bring up my mom in a lot of these scenarios is because she is the epitome of the yesteryear people that I talk about that didn't figure it out till later, you know, Moses later in life. I know she she gonna get mad because I called her old, but anyway, but she didn't figure it out to then that later in life. But the thing is, she figured it out. And then when she figured it out and understood, hey, because I didn't do it for the first 55, 60 years of my life, now I got to do way more now because I'm older. You know what I mean? So she figured that out, and then now she's doing it. I mean, I see her physically invest more when she makes way less more than people that make 5 to 10 times more than she makes. I mean, I know people that bring in $100,000 a year that's talking about, hey man, I can afford $50 a month. I literally know these people, and then now I just start hanging up on them because I don't have time for it. But that's the thing that's crazy. But I'm a pivot. I keep wanting to get to this point before we run out of time. Kids, Alex, your time is not. Your time is not.
Yeah.
You know, for the people that don't know, uh, baby Alex is about to be old pie Alex. And so now, what's the game plan? What you gonna do? Now you gave all this advice on, hey, don't give your kids nothing. Now your kid about to take everything. So what's your game? What is your game plan for your kid? That's what I want to hear.
I'm trying to take lessons from you, man. I gotta raise him with the stock market. That's gonna be his entertainment. Nah, I'm just playing. Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. I've never been a dad. All I can say is try and teach him the things that I did not learn growing up. Try and show him from a younger age, and um, and I will be implementing some of your tactics. There's a there's some good tactics, so that will be those will be used.
And for people that don't know, when you say tactics, he really saying torture. But I'll share I'll share a few with y'all. Uh, I'll share a few with y'all. So I don't believe in the concept of we already have the school system that's going to indoctrinate our kids that you need to do work to get paid. So I don't believe in that indoctrination. So I don't believe in paying my kid to work, like do chores to get paid. So what I mean by that is like I'm not gonna say, hey, if you clean your room, I'm gonna give you $5, or I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you $15 if you go cut the grass. That's not happening. That's not happening at all. Matter of fact, is what's gonna happen is you're gonna do everything I say because you got to do it for free anyway. That's just how it is. But what I do is I work him on a system, meaning that okay, I pay him X amount of money a month for no reason, for no reason. But the goal for him to get the money again the month later is if he saves 25% of the money that he was given. Now the chores and all that other stuff, he got to do that for free if I pay him or not. So that's not why I'm not even associating work with money. We trust me, we got the school system that's gonna teach him that drill all the time. But what I do is I teach him, hey, the way that you can get more money if you save 25% of the money that you have. So every month, if he saved 25%, he gets the money. If he saved 25%, he gets the money. But I do got a way to get some money back, y'all. So check me out. So right here, I got a tax system right here. I got the kids tax system, right? So I got to teach them real life. So what I do is to get my money back. So everything that he do wrong, I tax him some money to get my money back. So I try to get it back in the first week so I can get my money back. But I got a tax system going on. But that's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to teach them that the the value of what the value of money is. The value of money is the money itself. It's the money itself. Don't associate, hey, I got to go do 20 hours, 40 hours a week to get a paycheck. It's, hey, if I have money and then I'm saving money and then I'm compounding money, then I'm investing money on top of that, then I will keep having money. But the thing is we've always been associated the grind of, like you said, Alex, getting paid $10 per hour. So I got to go give you an hour of my time for $10. So if everybody just inverted that and thought of everything they bought, how much time in my life that I had to spend to make that happen, it'll be a lot more stuff not being bought. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain, your time is going to run out. Everybody think the most valuable thing they have is the money, but the truth is it's the time. So I don't ever want to associate money with time with my son. I want him to associate money with making more money. And then once he understands the concept of money making more money, because like Alex said, my son invests in the stock market every month. And then but those are the different nuances and things like that I try to implement and instill into my son that he's not trying to be in the normal system that everybody wakes up with. Because everybody I know who have kids, oh yeah, they get an allowance for doing their chores. What? So if you don't pay them, they don't have to do them? Fuck out of here. No, he's still doing
Right. So we have a question. What are the top three biggest money lessons that we have
for let's see. Okay.
from
What are
family?
the top three? Do they mean like by for family or just money lessons at all? For me, I just go money lessons historic. Of course, spend less than you make. And when people say that, they when you say spend less than you make, people just think of, oh, he's trying to tell me not to spend money. No, I'm just saying spend less than you make. If you make $5,000 a month, there's no in hell you should be spending $6,000 a month.
Right.
Or if you want to spend $6,000 a month, go make $8,000 to $10,000 a month so you can spend $6,000 a month. But it should be nowhere on God's green earth. You make five and then you spend six. But spend less than you make that, and that was a hard concept for me to get. I was Mr. Credit Card Swiper. I was like a ninja with those credit cards. I was swiping everywhere. I used to swipe those things. But so Alex, I'll let you give one, and then I'll come back with what's the financial lesson, biggest financial lesson you learned.
I actually wrote three down.
Mm-hmm.
Remove emotion. So
Mm.
in um in any financial situation, it could be people trying to play on your feelings, make you feel guilty to give them money. It could be people trying to sell you stuff. You got them salespeople in the world. Um, it can be having fear if you're invested in something. If you understand it, trust the work you did. Um, Emotion in general, all of it. Remove it completely from when it comes to money.
Yeah, and Alex, I think he talking bad about me. Y'all don't be noticing the subtle shots that he be throwing at me. That's 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 one of my favorite ones, the emotion, because I always say emotion is money, and the only reason I say he's throwing shots at me because I be hitting so many people with that emotional line. But yeah, but the truth of it is that's all emotion is. If you if people can play on your emotions, then they can get your money.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, they have make up stories, whatever, but they know the buttons to push to make you unask the money. That's something. That's why I don't associate money with emotions at all. Because all I say, people, because guys walk around, oh man, I'm so hard, man. I don't play that emotional. If you're not emotional, show me your bank account. Because the only reason why you're spending money and you don't have money in your bank account is because you're so emotional about an item. Maybe it's some shoes, maybe it's a car, maybe it's whatever. But you're emotional about it that makes you think you gotta have it. But if you're not emotional about it, oh, you should have tens of thousands in the bank. You can play that persona to everybody else, but your bank account is gonna tell you the true you. And I see people all the time. Oh man, so man, I'm hard as woodpecker lips, man. You crazy. But then they got $3 in their bank account. No, somebody got it from you. Somebody got it from you.
What's your second one?
I see. All right, so I'm gonna go back. LM. I'm gonna go to his. That's a good one. Uh, so emotion is what, but for me is having the inverse emotion. The move you stole mine actually, but having the inverse ideal or the mindset about investing. When stocks go down, that's when you should be the most excited about investing. When stocks go up, that's a byproduct of the work you did when the stock was going down. But people have this euphoric moment. They see a stock go up 15, 20, 30%, and they make a huge profit. Then they don't want to sell because they think, oh, it's going to go up 2, 3, 400%. But then it comes back down, or they see the stock market crashing like it is today or this week. This is the most for people that was in the Discord. They know stock market down. That's the only days I care about. Stock market up. Oh, that's just a byproduct of the work that it did. But having that reverse psychology of money of what you've always thought and actually the reality of what it is. That's was my huge factor that I had to learn. I, I
You
think
wanted
you
to,
got yeah.
you wanted to go to this point? Oh,
Yeah, you can ask that one. There's a question out there.
hold on. There's a few questions. So
What LLM
all right.
LMM.
So he says, did you see any correlation between your wealth going up and your health rising as well?
All right, LM. I'm gonna talk about me first. Alex, I already know what he's gonna say. Me, I only got fatter, man. I only got fatter. The more money I made, the fatter I got. So my health has been going in the opposite direction for a long time. So, Alex, what's your thoughts on that one?
Curry's been drinking since what was it? You said age 7? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The more healthier I was, the broker I was, man. So then I started putting on some weight. I got them love handles. I said, forget about the six pack, and it's been every pound I add, another pound coming. That's how I look at it.
Uh, I would say it depends on you. It depends on you. So I think wealth, definitely for one. I think it helps your family health, your if people want to call it your mental health. You don't have as much stress. Um, your physical health, that's gonna depend on you. I mean, it depends on the food you want to eat. I mean, it's just more money is gonna allow you to indulge in the things you want. So for Kirby, that's bluefish tuna and alcohol. So bluefin tuna. I keep saying bluefish.
Hmm.
Bluefin tuna and Wendy's. Yeah, and I'll never get that. He keeps buying Wendy's. Like,
Yeah, but no, I dialed back on the Wendy's. I knew you was gonna try to throw that one in there, but I dialed back. I dialed back. Somebody said that I still run a 10-minute 2 mile. I don't remember those days. If I was running 10-minute 2 miles, I was super broke then. Yeah, now I give you about a 5 hour 2 mile, and that's driving because I ain't even trying to do that. Speaking of stock market, Alex, this for you. I like this question actually. Speaking of stock market, any plays for the next few days? What you got, Alex?
so for stocks right now, the ones I'm buying, I'm building a position. So For those that don't know, I'm in the middle of buying a property, so I kind of depleted my funds doing that. I closed on Tuesday, but I'm getting my funds back up, and the stocks I'm going into are Chewy, Upstart, and QQQI. And for QQQI, I'm trying to get it to a over $100,000 position so I can see a real income coming from it. It's a high dividend stock. We got a video on it that we posted, I think like a week ago or so.
Right.
So those
Yeah,
are
I
my
mean,
stock plays.
I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it simple. I'm keeping it simple. That QQQ I play. I'm still looking for that one. But I see it. I see the question said any plays for the next for these next few days. I'd say I don't think this market downturn is going to be over in the next few days. Just being honest, I think this is paying for a while. I mean, right now we're going into earnings season. Earnings season is roughly about 2.5, 3 months. Every company will be graded on the forward guidance they give. The money that they earned the last 3 quarters don't matter. They will be looked upon as the forward guidance that they're going to give now with these tariffs implemented. Now, some people are going to sit there and say, "Oh, well, my company is an American company; it's not affected by tariffs." No, that's a lie. Some people gonna say my company is a U.S. bank is not affected by tariffs. No, that's a lie. If you directly or in every company is directly or indirectly affected by tariffs. And then I'll just give you the one for the banking system for the people that think that. People think that, oh well, it's just a bank. A bank don't have tariffs. True. But if banks make money, how do the banks make money? That's the first question. The banks make money by you depositing your money into the bank. They fractional lend it out to people. But now, if you as a consumer have to pay more money, that's less money that you can save. If it's less money that you can save, that's less money that they can lend out. So the banks themselves are still affected indirectly by having a by having the tariffs on there. I mean, but every cycle you go, I mean, you can talk about toys, anything, gas. People don't know. They hear this America's energy independent. America is energy independent in the fact that we produce more than we import. But the oil that we produce, we don't use all that oil in the United States. We export a lot of it to sell it. But it's tariffs on the oil that we import. So gas prices will be affected by that. So anything, Alex, you work in the trucking industry. So if diesel prices go up, the cost of shipping the packages will go higher. If the cost of shipping the packages go higher for the business, that means he's going to transfer that cost to the consumer. So the tariffs will affect. So this earnings season, that's what I will be telling people to do in the next couple of days, weeks, and months, is actually looking at the company that you like and see what they announce during the earnings season to see how bad their company will be impacted by the tariffs. But if I'm just going this blank slate, of course, I'm gonna say SPY, QQQs. Alex, I like that QQQI there, and that's just I would just keep it simple. Keep it simple. The QQQI, I like the position you're saying about $100,000. $100,000 will bring you in roughly about $15,000 in dividends. Plus, you're gonna get the upside of as the Q goes. So again, 15,000 in income, and just to get back to the all-time highs that we was at, that's still what
Like a 20%
about
increase. Yeah.
another 20% upside on the equity side. So
Yeah.
you're getting paid to wait, and then it's up to you if you're gonna reinvest the dividends or not, or you can take that 15,000, add it with another 15,000. Oh God, I got another down payment for investment property, and you can get investment properties or whatever or business faster than just
Yeah.
doing it with just the income. So no, I like that play, but I would keep it simple with just indexes. I wouldn't, unless you're willing to put in the work, I wouldn't be looking at individual stocks because the next 3 months, especially with the tariffs going on, that's going to be something big to look at. I see Jonathan Velasquez saying that information might not necessarily show up in the next round of earnings, right? No, and that's why I said forward guidance. You're looking for the forward guidance because once you listen to the conference call, the first question, I guarantee, the first question that every analyst asks on that is, how are the tariffs going to impact your company? And then the company is going to give the forward guidance on what they believe the tariffs will and how they will impact. And then, of course, when the next quarter come around, the next earnings season come around, they're going to be judging the company based on the guidance that they gave and the actual earnings that was produced. But yeah, this quarter they will be sending. They should be projecting out what, because now everybody knows what the numbers are, what the percentage of the tariffs each tariff is. So like for U.S. Bank, they should be like, okay, they coming up with a model saying that, okay, we think that this is going to do a hit 15 to 20% of people saving. It's going to be a hit there. So that's 15 to 20% less savings of people's money that we're going to have to lend out. And then now they got to start thinking about, the job layoffs, the delinquencies of credit card payments, and all that. Factor all that into a model to see what their earnings or their future projected earnings will be based off the tariff numbers that they have today. So I think that will be an impact. And I just mentioned banks because I know people love the banking sector, but and every sector of the business is going to be like that. You got anything else out there?
Sin asked a little bit ago if I could elaborate on things I didn't learn that I want to teach my son.
That's a good question. I like
Um,
it. And
it's
that's the hard part, right? Not knowing what you didn't know then. Now you know some of
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way of how to think about money, how to think about, and how money kind of is what determines, I guess, what kind of life you'll have. So the way I've always looked at money is just a way to buy freedom and not a way to buy material things. Um, so teaching my son, look for freedom. Whatever he wants to do in his life, in the world, that's his decision. But understand how to get the ability to do that, and that's by managing money correctly and how to get money.
I see JH asks, will this be the same as the 2008 housing crisis? Alex, I'll let you answer first. Then I'll put my opinion on it.
Kirby, I was like 3 years old during this time, so yeah, you would know better. No, I mean, I would say just from what I've learned about it, I think the housing crisis. I don't think banks are handing out loans the same way, but we have seen now that the government was hiding the fact that they were paying the mortgages for a million homes just to not go in foreclosure. So that's something that came on the radar, and I think there's a lot of inflated prices, like in certain areas, especially still like here in Florida and Miami. But from what I've seen, it's compared more to the '80s rather than 2008. But you'll get more details.
Yeah, Alex, you was right on point when you said it was more to the 80s. And if I always tell people study history, history don't repeat, but it rhymes. It rhymes like a motherfucker. And what I'm saying by that is in the 80s and 70s, we had 18, 19, 20% interest on houses, but the home prices didn't go down. I mean, as you see now, we had 8% interest on homes and the home prices didn't go down. Now it is some areas in the United States that just oversaturated with high price homes that people just not going to buy them. But just because the price went down, that don't mean the values went down. I mean, when people put up their home prices for sale, that's not the value. That's just what they want for the property. So no, I don't think this is going to be like the 2008 housing crisis because there's not enough variable rate debt on the housing market. So that was the biggest reason by in 2008 people had a lot of arm loans and they couldn't pay once that interest rate adjusted. A lot of, I think, 65 to 80, 65 to 70% of all the homes on the market today have fixed rate debt under 5%, probably more than that. But so no, this will not be like a 2008 housing crisis. And then for the people that's been in the Discord, I've said that millions of times that you should, with the interest rates high, you should be looking to buy, like, to again, I'm just playing the playbook from the late 70s, early 80s. You should be looking to buy these homes because you have less competition. The summer months going to come, and as you see, the interest rate on mortgages have come down to like 6%. It's in the 6% percentile range now. You're gonna get more competition, and then you might even get a little elevation of price. Hopefully you don't, because it's still some inflated markets, like Alex said, the Florida, the Texases of the world, the Arizonas of the world, the Nevadas of the world. They got some inflated pricing there, uh, but that's what this is. It's not the you losing 50% on the value of a home, not the price, but the value on a home. I don't think we're nowhere near that because there's just too many. The houses are actually in a lot of good hands. Now, will people foreclose? Yeah, but will it be 30, 40% of people foreclosing on homes like it was in the financial crisis? Hell, the money is too cheap.
Someone says, I have a settlement check coming in, trying to decide what to pay off. Pay off something in full or pay a portion of a few things. I would say find what is costing you the most money per month that you could pay off completely and pay that off.
I like that. That was gonna be close to what I said. But I was gonna say pay something off. But yeah,
Yeah.
the thing that costs you the most monthly, you pay that off. That's that's
Yeah.
what it is. And I wouldn't. And then I would, with the money that you save and paying the monthly payment on that one, I would go to the lowest net average or the net balance you have, and then take that and the minimum payment you're paying towards that, and throw it to that, and just keep working up the system. And last but not least, stop buying shit to get in debt with. That's another one.
Yeah.
Any other questions out there, Alex? I think we done made enough people mad, I guess. Any other questions out there? Any other questions out there, y'all? I know we passed our hour, but we'll keep going until the questions stop.
I think that's it.
All right.
Cool. Well, guys, stay tuned for the next one. The next live next Saturday. It'll be about uh, youth finances. We'll figure out a way how to title that, but teaching kids, teenagers how to make money and think differently about money. But we'll see you guys next week, 12 p.m.